the capital is low. So initially, the beginning of all my deals were less than 25,000. Why? Because I could find buyers that had that money in their mattresses, that had that money in their bank accounts, that wanted to buy something that they bought free and clear, they had the title for or a bill of sale, and they were able to own it and just pay lot rent.
All right, guys, this is Kelly from Hills, Deals, and Wheels Mobile Home Investing Course. We have a special guest, Miss Camille. And Camille, she goes by She Buys Mobile Homes. And I actually found you on Instagram, Killing the Game. And I have to first apologize because we didn't reschedule this. I don't know how many times, and I thank you so much for your patience. And then I gotta apologize because I actually used a video on my YouTube channel because I thought I was gonna interview you, and then we kept canceling. But you are already on YouTube, but I'm gonna put this on YouTube, and I know we're gonna get a lot of views off of this. So, Camille, how are you doing this morning? And introduce yourself to everybody.
Oh, I'm doing wonderful this morning. And yeah, thanks for having me. Hills, Deals, and Wills. It's all about mobile home investing. And any other fellow investors in the mobile home industry, I'm definitely excited to speak with. So it's a pleasure to be here with you, Kelly.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate you getting on here. So, why mobile home investing? What were you doing before mobile homes? Number one.
Uh, well, I started out as an investor, was doing real estate, and then right before mobile home investing, I was working for a government agency, and COVID came around. I was just had my first child, and mobile home was the niche that I learned about. Luckily to social media, and got involved in mobile home investing. I had some mentors, some teachers, and my life just did a 360, literally in a matter of probably like 6 to 8 months.
Wow. Wow. So is it safe to say you quit your job or are you still working or how does that work?
I'm still technically employed, but I haven't worked because I don't have an assignment. It was a contract employee, a contract position. But mobile homes have been sustaining me, is allowing me to create the lifestyle that I have. I haven't worked a W-2 in probably about 3 years now. So yeah, it's definitely been a lucrative venture, and a great niche of just working with families and people from all over that are investing and looking for affordable housing.
Okay. Okay. And so where are you doing business out of? Is it any one particular state or you all over the place?
Well, I'm a licensed mobile home dealer, so mobile homes, wherever mobile homes are. I'm in the Carolinas because I reside in North Carolina, in Charlotte area. So of course, anything about an hour, within an hour's distance, I'm working that particular market. But I have traveled to the Virginia area, to Georgia, California, Detroit. It's been a lot of deals just surrounding. I'm also a licensed realtor too. So, with getting my license as a mobile home dealer, I first started out as a licensed realtor. So, I'm used to doing deals, not necessarily connected to my locale, meaning where I'm living, but wherever the deal is, wherever there's possibility to make money doing, joint ventures or referral deals, I travel.
Okay. All right. So are you still doing like single family homes or you just mainly focused on mobile homes?
Well, so let me just start off with saying how the mobile home industry, how I got into that, like, about 3 years ago. And that's because I had my first child, and I started marketing, followed the blueprint that my mentor showed me about mobile home investing, and started building a business. I came up with this name. Instead of We Buy, it was She Buys. Not really thinking too much of it, but it kind of stuck. It's fun to play with. She buys mobile homes. And I just started working and doing exactly what they said to do as investing in mobile homes. Well, the cash flow that I started creating allowed me to put that money into other areas of real estate. So I do have my hands. I'll never leave real estate, which mobile homes is a component of the real estate industry because it's 1,002 facets of real estate. You can do commercial, you can do land deals, you can do apartments, you can do anything, businesses, malls, land deals, whatever. The possibilities are endless, and mobile homes is a niche in that real estate industry. Yeah, it is mobile and it's considered personal property, but it's something that is part of real estate because you need land to park it to be able to reside in it comfortably. And so I'll always have a part of the stick built houses, and now my new love of mobile homes, the personal properties.
Okay. So if you had to, well, you do have the opportunity because you're a realtor and now you just told me your license. Which one are you more leaning towards, one versus the other, or is pretty much equal?
No, they go hand in hand. They go hand in
Okay.
hand. I just closed a real estate deal, and it's because I've constantly been in real estate since 2009. So I have the consistency, the name. I'm licensed in New Jersey, but I do deals all over. I've done deals in Maryland. I just closed a deal here in North Carolina of a house that I don't even live in. And that's just because I help someone out with connecting. So that's the power of having a license. But prior to that, getting my license, it wasn't always referral deals. I started out working with first-time home buyers and helping them be able to, purchase a home, educating them along the way, help so many people purchase a home that I still have referrals to this day. Why? Because it's a referral business. Just the same principles that I do in real estate, I do in my real estate of mobile homes. So it's about building your brand, having a good name, and educating people along the way that they feel comfortable and they like you and they want to buy with you.
Okay. So Camille, you are licensed in North Carolina to buy and sell mobile homes, or where you licensed at?
In North Carolina. Uh-huh.
North Carolina. So to tell us about that licensing process, because a lot of people don't believe me when I tell them in the state of Texas, it was open book. Was it the
Mm.
same for you guys?
No, it wasn't. It was closed book, but you took a class prior to. So in the state of North Carolina, we have to take a class, which is I don't know, but maybe 4 or 5 hours worth of a class, and it's in person. It's held. Is that Raleigh? I believe so, in our capital. And Mobile Home Association is something you definitely could look at. Any state has an association board for mobile homes, whether it's just the information, like you said, like in Texas, it's open book. But here we had to sit through the class and then we broke for an hour and took the test. So when you have I guess the experience, it's a walk in the park, meaning I was doing deals already. And before I even jumped into getting my license, I was still, it didn't stop me from having a profitable, building a brand business. I just ended up getting it because I was doing more deals. And I said, you know what? I said, I think it'll look good for me to have it. I'm not leaving. It's been 3+ years now, because it's actually 4 years now that I've been in mobile homes since 2020. And, it kind of went hand in hand that it wasn't something that I had to try for a year and it said, it's not for me. I ended up liking it so much that I said, you know what? I'm doing consistent deals. I have this brand. Well, let me go get my license. And I went and obtained it same day, passed the test. Well, I didn't find out till the next day, but passed the test, and I've been licensed ever since.
All right, that's amazing. So, Camille, what would you say is your favorite strategy, or what are you doing? Are you buying and holding, renting, wholesaling? What are you doing? Just selling it to a client, or what are you doing?
Um, Whatever is feasible. No two deals are alike, right? Every deal is going to be different, but you want deals to come to you. You want your phone to constantly be ringing. Like I have my work phone right here. I'm deals are coming. I have appointments lined up. I gotta get this title executed today, and the objective is to be in business. And so when business happens, it could be anything. To say that I'm just fishing for, catfish, or I'm just fishing for salmon, you want to know about the trout too, the flounder, the cod, and even the shark out there. you want to know what opportunities come your way. So I get calls for a variety of deals. Right now we're actually just finishing up moving a mobile home, another mobile home that I was getting ready to move, but then found out that the actual owner of the land said, "Hey, I'll buy it." And meanwhile, I came to him first, but it just happens that way. And then I get deals for wholesaling, traditional wholesaling, literally, hey, I'll market it for you. Or I have a buyer that's interested. Or, hey, I'll buy it because SheBuys does acquire mobile homes. I'm not in the business of holding mobile homes because I don't believe in, not saying I don't believe, but I don't personally like to hold any mobile homes. If I do, it has to be for a particular project and it has to be a certain age. So it is a criteria that I go after in terms of things that I'm going to personally acquire because it's certain things that I like. And you really have to know what it is you're in it for, whether it's a residual dollar or transactional income. And my preference with mobile homes is more so on a transitional side.
Okay. So Camilla, you brought up the age of the mobile home. What is your criteria? What would be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna buy this. What would be that?
Anything that's probably like a 2010 and over, like 14 years. Now we're in the 14th year, or 2024, I should say. Nothing too old. Mobile homes depreciate. It's just what it is. Mobile homes last between a good 30 to maybe 40, maybe 50 years. Even though my first mobile home that I renovated was built in the 60s. They don't even know the year that it was. Certain things you may gamble with, but in terms of my preference of something that I'm going to acquire and hold and maybe put on land for me to either resell or lease, leasing the land and having a for sale by owner option, a seller finance option, it would have to be on the newer side, more so in that 2010 and newer.
Hmm.
But
And why would that? Could you explain that to people who might not understand that? Why would that be that you would prefer a newer home versus, something that's older?
well, again, it's the age value. Mobile homes depreciate, right? So your stick-built houses that you have, the home that you may live in, is something that appreciates the value. Why? Because it's on land, it's built a certain way. It uses different materials. However, mobile homes are built differently, and they're not built on the fact of lasting in comparison to your brick and mortar home. And that's just, the value of it. It's something that I can't have equity in, right? Because again, it depreciates.
Right.
So if I own the land, then I'm looking at lot rent. I don't care what's happening above the ground. I could care less. And that's the power of understanding the positions of where you're at on that table of deals, whether it's renting it out, meaning you have to maintain the maintenance of it. It depreciates. So that means those floors may be sinking in after a while, especially if you moved it more than once. Even if you moved at one time, you're compromising the structure of the home, and that's just part of the game of understanding what it is and how to see where you fit into it and what you're willing to commit to in the deal.
Right. So, would you have any words of advice for somebody who's new to the game, who's trying to move the mobile home the first time? Because I moved the mobile home and it was a nightmare. Don't want to do it again, and I do have to do it again. What are your thoughts concerning that?
Just like my mentor said in the beginning, don't move a mobile home on your first deal. Maybe not even your first 3 to 5 deals. And in the beginning, I was scared to move mobile homes because of that, right? But I had to renovate mobile homes. I had to resell. I had to renovate again. I had to resell. I had to resell. I had to get into different kinds of mobile homes, different manufacturers, different builders, different terrains, different land. Some were higher altitudes and some were in swampy areas. You learn the structure of a home, and when you learn about it and you can articulate these types of doors and the height of ceilings, and whether it's a roll-on roof or if it's a shingle roof, different things like that, and you feel comfortable and you're consistent in it, you may want to gamble. And everything is a gamble. It's a risk in any real estate deal. It's just always a risk, but you may be interested in playing that game and say, hey, I may move this. And what you have to really understand is if you assume that deal and it's something that you have to move, just understand your position in it. You're the coordinator of this. So I actually have a video that's about to come up that's really good of understanding the importance of coordinating the deal. You're coordinating the mover, the land, the permits, the county, the city, the seller. You know, you're the one that's orchestrating this whole deal. And you have to make sure from soup to nuts that this right here is something that you're going to make sure it happens, that it's going to happen smoothly, effectively, and that everybody in all parts is going to be satisfied with your work, especially you.
Gotcha, gotcha. So let's talk a little bit about this rehab that you did. You said the mobile home was in the roughly about the 1960s. It was built roughly around there. Can you break down that deal? You know, how much you paid for it and the rehab and all that kind of stuff, and how much you wind up selling it for?
Yeah. So like on my Instagram page, Instagram basically for me is like my memoirs. It's like my journal of all just about all my deals. So I'm starting to get a little bit behind on posting just because this is the business now. You know, it's rolling and a lot of houses that I see, a lot of mobile homes that I see, and I'm not able to post as often. I'm like, oh man, I'm so behind. I got 10 things in the queue, that you could start talking about, but it just takes time. But if you go on my Instagram page, which is She Buys Mobile Homes, you go at the bottom, in the beginning, you'll see the images of that house, what it looked like on the exterior, the interior. And I even do little videos on it, like, just talking about it. But that was a deal that I got that was for $500. And it needed about between like $9,000 and $10,000 worth of work. So I had good contractors that were good friends of mine that I worked with on other real estate deals that I trusted to do this job. We went into it and I wanted to make sure that they could do this at the quality and the level that I needed to be done because of the age factor, the location of it. And it was in the wintertime we started doing this. This was, I think I acquired this property, not even think, it was in February of 2020. So got it for 500, put, I believe it was like 95, just shy of $10,000 worth of work, which was the plumbing, some electrical, some floors, paint, roof, exterior cleanup, and bathrooms. It was a 2 bedroom, 1 bath. And, the things that we did to it was to bring it up to functional to living standards of today from when it was originally. But the one good thing about that deal was not only did I learn about the mobile homes, but I understood and respected the fact that throughout the rain, hurricanes, tornadoes, and whatever may have come to North Carolina, that home was still here. So that's what it tells you, the longevity in some of these homes. If they're positioned correctly, if they're taken care of, you may want to look at it and say, hey, it could stand the test of time. So that was something I felt comfortable with investing. I turned around, and I actually was the first one to go into this park that was being revitalized. It used to have a lot of gangs in it. It was biker gangs in it. It was a lot of drug use. So it was torn down. 2 young guys that I met ended up purchasing this park. And I think it was like less than 40 units. So it was on a smaller side of a park. And I purchased one just as a test run because again, I'm just getting out of mobile home class. They told me, I had my notebook in my hand, like, okay, they said do this. They said do that. I'm that type of person. I'm not here to reinvent no wheels. They said this is how you make money. I'm gonna do it. And I followed the recipe, and I was the first one to renovate and resell in that park. So I created the comps in that park because I ended up buying the second one. I did the same thing. So I resold that home for 15,500, and I made that difference between the two. And I believe we closed that in between 6 and 8 weeks. Yeah, it was like February. I acquired it like February 12th or something, and I closed it the first week in April or something. And it was a great excitement of like, wow, I could see something of you acquiring, you renovating, putting the work into it, and then coordinating the sell of it. It's like, yeah, I'm on to the next. And I did the second one in there.
Okay. So did you do that for cash or you put them on notes or what did you do? Get a
No,
big
no.
deposit? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no notes, cash for sale, and 15,000. And see, the sweet part people need to understand is when you're investing in mobile homes, the great thing about it is The reason why I could turn a flip over in 4, 6, maybe 8 weeks, and 8 weeks is a little bit extensive to me, is because it's not that cash intensive. This is something that is, we're talking less than 20,000, right? The average person that's over 30 years old should statistically should have about 15 to 20,000 saved up or accessible, whether they can get a bank loan, they could ask a family member, borrow from their credit union, borrow from their 401k, whatever. They could get their hands on that when you're over 30. And some people are doing it, when they're younger than that. But for that market, for that area, for 15,500, like it's a win-win. I had it listed for 18,000 and I accepted a 15.5. So it was a win-win. But the beauty behind it is the capital is low. So initially, the beginning of all my deals were less than 25,000. Why? Because I could find buyers that had that money in their mattresses, that had that money in their bank accounts, that wanted to buy something that they bought free and clear, they had the title for, or a bill of sale, and they were able to own it and just pay lot rent. So now their cost of living not only is paying off the home, but now they're only responsible for $300 to $500 a month for lot rent. It's a beautiful thing.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. That is truly amazing. So have you come across any like challenges? Because a lot of people I hear them talk about, oh, I can't find a handyman or a contractor, or the man runs off with the money and all that good stuff. Have you had any challenges since you've been in this business?
Always. Challenges
Okay.
is in every business. There's no walks in the park when it comes to people and money. It's just not. The question is it a challenge that you're willing to work through? Right?
Okay.
Are you willing to be like, okay, I had a friend of mine that lost, I think it was, I don't know, maybe like $2,600, right? 25, $2,600 doesn't seem like a lot to a lot of people, but when you don't have it and you had that, just that small amount, it's the world to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the lesson that she had to learn was a lesson that I said, you know what, that lesson of doing the wrong thing or miscalculating your steps cost you. So you went to school for $2,600. That's the way you have to look at it. It's like, look, if it happens to you a second time, then that means you didn't pass the class the first time, right?
True. True that.
I mean, when you really think about it, but overall, there's been a lot of mishaps. I mean, from park owners, park managers, from investors. I mean, nothing shicey or anything that has been, detrimental to my safety or, I mean, I could tell you stories from, disgruntled clients that were just people who you could not please. And you're sitting here trying to do the best, and you don't know what they're witnessing on their ends, right? Because they may be seeing things differently, but you're trying to give it your all and your best. And it just wasn't a win-win situation. So it's a deal you have to walk away from, or you make no money, or it's a contract that is lost. But you keep going with it. You either, say, look, this is right here is not working for both of us. It's not a win-win. I don't think I'm a person that can serve you, or I'm the right person to find the home for you, or maybe this home is not for you. Just fess up to it, because everything is not going to be a peachy keen or a win-win. But overall, about 90% of my deals allows me to sit here and talk to Kelly today and be excited
All right.
that anybody got mobile homes. So
You wearing the shirt and you got the sign in the back, so we ready for you.
yeah, this is my trademark right here. Got mobile homes.
I love it, and I might have to steal it.
Hey, listen, you got to pay for it. This is trademark
Ex-
right
exactly. So, how do you go about screening your potential buyers so you're not wasting the park manager's time? How do you go about doing that?
So I follow the same steps the parks do, right? I'm not here to reinvent the wheel. I'm not here to stress myself. I'm not here to, do anything outside of the norm, right? The same process that the park does, I do the same thing, right? So if you were interested in purchasing one of the park's homes, right? You go through the process. They say, hey, when you come in, you want to see this home that's for sale? They say, yeah, let me see your ID. They give you an ID, they show the house, right? They unlock it, they let you walk through and see and, ask questions about it. I do the same thing. Listen, the application does a background check. It's a basic fee, whatever the fee is, 25, 50, $75. It's a fee behind that. And that's just going to check your criminal record, your if you have a felony, if you've been evicted, if there's any judgments. A lot of these parks are talking about not necessarily judgments, but things on your credit that are medical, things that's on your credit, showing that you may have extended liabilities, or you've been sued, or you've had bankruptcies. They're curious about the major things like that, because that shows that you have money that needs to be paid somewhere. And, how are you going to pay me the lot rent each month? So the same thing the park does, I do the same thing, so I right now is following their recipe, their steps, so that it's consistent. So whatever park I'm working in, whatever deals I'm doing the same thing. I'm not reinventing nothing.
Okay. All right. Have you had any challenges as far as talking to the mobile home park manager? Because I notice a lot of newbies that is one of their biggest fears is talking to the park manager and also allowing the buyer and the seller to meet. Have you had any challenges in those areas?
Yeah, with parks mainly. And I have one park that I probably made well over six figures in maybe like, a year or so, just in this one particular park. And the great thing about that is it was a hard park to get into, you know. So how do you establish those relationships with park owners or park managers? Is that you have to be there and you have to be professional. You have to, let them know that, hey, I'm not trying to do anything sneaky. I want this to be a win-win. I have a buyer that's interested in purchasing one of your mobile homes, that seller, is trusting me to find that person for them in this particular situation that I'm painting a picture of. And I just want them to know, just like I tell all my parks, and a lot of times I think they have to see the consistency. I come there, you see me in my uniform, you see me with my signs. The park says, don't put no for sale signs on the yard. No problem. I'll put them in the window, because I need to advertise that this home is available, right? Um, the person that comes there, I'm saying, listen, anybody that's interested in purchasing, I'm gonna let them do your application, come to your office. I want you to meet them, right? Because it's my client. I'm going to get paid regardless. But the thing is, I want you to be satisfied that I'm working with you. So I'm like a third party company.
Right.
Once they see that, then they can't help but to say, well, she knows what she's doing. She's vetting our people that's going to live here. Because the main thing is they just want to know who's going to live here, who's going to sign the lease, who's going to be responsible, so that if and when possibly they have to evict, they just want to know who to evict, that they have the proper identifications and, social security numbers or whatever, so they can do their job, so they can collect their lot rents. So I'm just here to do the same thing that they're doing, but I'm just a third party company doing it. So I think when they see you initially, it's just about introducing yourself, letting them know, listen, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, because the person in that park has the right to work with you. They don't have to be redlined or steered into working with just the park. They could work with a realtor. They can work with anybody because it's their home. Even if they have a loan on it, it's their home. I'm just
Right.
renting the land here. So we just want to abide by, just like I tell anybody, we just want to abide by the park's rules and regulations. That's it.
And in most situations, wouldn't you say that you're making their job a little easier, really?
Of course. Of course. Please. Now they happy to see me when I come in there. In this video that I'm getting ready to post, you'll see the park manager. She's like waving at me, like damn near want to give me a hug, in the beginning, y'all would just, speaking behind my back and not welcoming. But you know what? Each time I came in there, I'm like, hello, how are you? Because I'm a loud talker, and when I walk into the banks or these park offices, they know I'm there because I'm the loudest one, and they're like, oh, here she goes. They don't know my name, but they know She Buys Mobile Homes. They know this sign. So everything
Right.
is streamlined, right? Everything is consistent, that you can't help but to like me. Or you don't have to like me, but you have to do business with me in a respectful, cordial like way. That's all I ask.
Okay. So, Camille, how do y'all go about closing deals out there in North Carolina? Do y'all go to the DMV and how do you check, liens and all that good stuff? Because in the state of Texas, we're able to do most of that stuff online. So, how do y'all go about doing it?
So everything pretty much is a phone call to DMV to find out. If they have the title, then you can just verify through the county office. You can inquire if they have the physical title. That's usually a high indication that there's no liens on it. When they don't have a title on it, then that's when you have to ask questions and do your research. But it's just standard. You can go to DMV. A lot of our stuff is starting to be electronically uploaded. Certain things for brick and mortar houses are now virtual now in our county and state. Is starting to spread out the systems here. But in terms of DMV, a lot of it is manual that you have to physically go to the title agencies, DMV office and do all of the let work behind it. But if they have the title to execute it, you call, make sure about the taxes, you verify with the park that the lot is good, that no monies is owed. Hey, I'm game.
Okay, all right. And let's just rewind a little bit. How do you go about the buyer and the seller not meeting each other, or do you even care when you're wholesaling?
I don't care, and this was the first deal that I had that they actually met. You know, the first deal that they actually met, and I was comfortable with it, but I said, "Oh wow!" I said, as much as I've been doing business, right? I've never had them in the same, you know, room or same area. And actually this wasn't the first time, this was probably the second time, but it was a spread of time between the two. And it was a pleasant experience because the okay, so I was moving the mobile home, I had it listed, sold it in 6 days. And when the buyer and the seller finally met, everybody knew who was getting paid what. Why? Because you keep everything above board. You're a little scared and a little nervous when things are like, oh, I didn't let them know how much I'm making, the spread in between. And there's ways around doing that. But when you're above board, you don't care. Like, listen, I'm helping you solve a problem. I'm helping this person here gain a home. So I'm doing what all parties are aware is taking place. It's when you become a little suspicious of maybe the spread and profits that you're creating that makes you a little apprehensive of wanting the two people in the room. But objective is when they're there, you're executing a title, a bill of sale, a purchase agreement. A lot of that stuff is done beforehand. But this last deal recently, right before Christmas, was the two of them was in the same room, and it was a pleasant experience because the seller, it was a female, she was friendly, the buyer was a guy, he was friendly, and they all loved me. So I was like, oh, okay, this is great. So that right there, I said, I'm going to write that down as the perfect client and buyer, perfect seller and buyer. Why? Because situations like that happen. They're out there. Everything is not necessarily a nitty gritty or a headache deal to have. Some of this stuff is smooth sailing, and it's easy to make money with a comma in it.
So, Camille, how would you feel about like if you got a seller on a contract and they're still advertising their mobile home? Do you allow them to do that, or how does that go about?
Well, see, so I operate just like a realtor, right? Listen, I have the exclusive rights.
Okay.
You work with me, I'm exclusive to you, right?
Right, right, right.
Let me steer this ship. Let me control this. Let me help you solve the problem of what? Selling the home, getting it moved, buying another home. You might be in arrears of your lot rents. You got to get out of this deal. You might have inherited this house. Let me solve that problem for you. So therefore, there's no need for you to do that. And if
Right,
there's something like, well, I just want to make sure, well, then why do you need me?
right. Exactly.
So I don't have to
Mm-hmm.
answer every question, but I just need to know what you're thinking.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So these are the questions sometimes you just have to ask and understand, why would you want to do that? Do you need me? If not, then let me know when you do, and I'll be here for you. Thank you.
All right, all right. So, Camilla, you have like a one up on everybody because you're a realtor. Does that help? I'm sure that does help you with the comps, but how would somebody run some comps and they don't have a realtor? They don't know a realtor, they're not a realtor. How do they work something like that?
See, the only time you're really real estate license, you really don't have to have it. It's just that I acquired it so long ago and I still do deals underneath it. So I keep it. That's the only reason why. If I would have came into this industry solely as a mobile home investor, rehabber, I probably wouldn't have my real estate license. Why? Because the two don't really mix. So doing comps doesn't require you to have MLS. Doing comps is knowing what's taking place in that community. Unless it's on private land and there's no other houses around, then you ballpark it. You could ask questions like, do you owe money on the balance of your loan on this home, this lien? How many bedrooms and baths? How well is it taken care of? Sometimes you have to really make a judgment call because it's not like the brick and mortar houses that fluctuate and have equity and appreciate like the brick and mortar houses. Sometimes you really have to just guesstimate, make a wise choice, and come up with a number that all parties are comfortable with, meaning, the person that you're working with, the seller, or even negotiating with the buyers. So, like I said, in my first deal, that home, they didn't have any comps in there. I was the first one to come in there when they acquired the park. They acquired in December. Here I go, February, buying the first home, right? And they bought it right before Christmas. I think they closed on it like the 20 something of December. In February, I bought the first home on the 11th, 12th or whatever. And I'm renovating it. And I said, well, look at it. I said, the age of the home, the amount of money I put into it, I need to make a little bit of spread between this for my time, right? And to make it livable. So whoever moves in, this is turnkey, this is ready. So that's where I created that number. I didn't say 25,000, because I'm like, wait a minute, who's going to really pay for a home that really doesn't have an age? We didn't have a title. We were doing bill of sales. It's been there since it was moved or built. So it's not going nowhere. You can't move it because the park said, hey, we own it, can't move it. So you got to think of a number based on these variables. This is where the thinking process that there's no real book. There might be some organizations that may be teaching you how to think of numbers, but a lot of it is a judgment call and what you feel comfortable with based on these variables.
Gotcha.
But to answer your question,
go ahead.
But if it's in a park and you're trying to find comps, so like one of these corporate parks that I work in, they have 200 plus houses in there. So I could find comps in there easy. Why? Because if I'm dealing with a double wide, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, then I could find another company that probably sold within that community using the same specs as as a licensed realtor would, finding something within a mile, the same specs as the house you're selling, and just see what it's sold for in the last 6 to 12 months.
So, Camille, where do you see yourself in the mobile home business 5 years down the road?
I'm going to be a park owner, acquiring more and more acres of land. I started out investing in the mobile homes, learning about them, renovating them, selling them, reselling them, selling them again sometimes because I've been brought back in deals. They're like, I don't want to live here no more. Sell it for me. You're like, okay. So I've done a lot of the facets of mobile home investing. So now I want to graduate to being a park owner. And that's because you understand everything from, A to M. Now I want to go from M, more M's, all the way to Z. You know what I'm saying? So you grow in this. You could jump out and start becoming a park owner right from gate. You can do that. But for my journey, it was, I wanted to learn about this industry. I wanted to learn the people. I wanted to learn the process. I wanted to learn the mentality. Just all of that to help me know that in 5 years, like you asked, is to be the park owner and to own several parks, which is something that we're looking at doing now, in acquiring land, whether it's building our own and reselling it and renting out the land, or it's acquiring parks that are for sale.
Gotcha. Now, this is the first time I heard you say we. So who is we? Are you doing business with other people or who is we?
Yeah, so I work with a lot of investors. This She Buys Mobile Homes, you might see my face, but there's no I in team, right? Remember that? There's no I, it's really not. So I do have investors that are my go-to, in terms of the capitals that I may need. Some of the deals I may finance myself, but a lot of times I have investors that is using what OPM, other people's money. And it's a great relationship to have because they love me. Why? Because I turn a profit in a relatively short amount of time, and the risk is very, very minimal. Um, the other side of that is I have family that do mortgages for real estate that I actually partner in terms of negotiating some of our deals. So some of our deals come in packages. We're not just doing ones and twos of mobile homes. We've acquired 10 mobile homes from one particular owner, in a park. So that whole packaging of how we're going to construct that, I may have my partner actually do that in terms of meeting with them, constructing the contract, and getting it executed so that now we can, go on to our game plan of reselling them, renovating, holding, whatever it is that we decide to do. But and then I also have an assistant that, is my translator. A lot of our families speak Spanish. A lot of them come from other countries. About 85% of my clientele are Hispanic Latinos from, a variety of countries that are first-time citizens, first-time generation here to the States. Well, we have to be able to translate our documents and speak to them verbally and communicate in Spanish. So all these different facets of people that we have to work with, we have to have, the team to be able to do it.
Gotcha. So, Camille, during the pandemic, I tell anybody that's how me and my brother got most of our mobile homes. They were giving those mobile homes away like hotcakes. Yeah, they were. Did you experience that too, or what?
I did. I tell everybody, I'm like, COVID, listen, I know people went through some hardships and it was a challenge for a lot of people, but that was a come up time for me.
It was a come up for us too. It really was. It really was. It was a come up, I'm telling you. So, do you foresee the prices of these mobile homes ever getting back to where they were, like, pre-COVID? Do you ever foresee that happening? Because these mobile home prices are getting ridiculous.
Yeah, it's always about negotiation and it's always about the condition of the home. So yeah, that $500 deal or the homes that I was getting for like maybe 1,500, 3,000 are a little bit scarce, but they're still out there. I think it's about how you negotiate and how you go into a deal. Some people just want to acquire, acquire, acquire. And sometimes it takes strategy in order to acquire. It takes paying attention and not being anxious for anything. Just like home sales right now, we're still in the winter time. Home sales are taking a slight dip. Even rents here in North Carolina and Charlotte, particularly, um, rents are starting to decrease slightly. Why? Because the turnover, the evictions are at an all-time high. The turnover of, having that tenant stay there for 3 to 5 years is not happening anymore. And that's ideal for a landlord. That's the dream, is to have a tenant stay with you for 3 to 5. These tenants are leaving 6 to 8 months. At a year, they're out. So they're seeing that these rents are so high that, you're starting to lose the consistency. And that's where you really make your money, is with the longevity of of any type of rental income. But I do see the prices possibly being negotiable, that you can always talk the numbers you want. You could always talk the numbers. And the thing is, sometimes I don't even have to talk the numbers. I'm just asking questions about the home. What's your urgency? Do you see the renovations that may need to take place? What happens to this floor? Why is it sloping? Why do you have a hole in your floor? There's a major leak going on here. I smell mold or something taking place in here because my nose is itching. You have dogs in here and you have carpet. Do you know most people do not want carpet? So
Right.
sometimes you have to like go into these deals with asking those type or phrasing these statements to get them to think, so that the number can be realistic. Because you always want to be fair. You always want to be fair and equitable. You want to be a win-win. Unless they're giving it away, then hey, I'll take it. But sometimes when it is something of value, you just have to know how to verbally communicate that it's a price that is fair.
Okay. So, Camelia, how do you like I have some people or students, or I run across people who so apprehensive about being in this business might be experiencing some analysis paralysis. Do you have any advice for somebody like that?
Listen, I keep it real simple. And it's a secret that a lot of people wear every day. People, I like Adidas, right? I like the three stripes. There's a lot of people that like Nike, right? And that's fine. If you like Nike, you have to be like them and you have to take the risk. You have to just jump into it and just do it. I understand some people want to analyze because there's four types of people that we deal with, right? Overall, you have the shark, the person that sees the blood in the water. They go right after the deal. Nope. Listen, I don't even know if I'm a fail or win or whatnot. I'm just going to do it. That's fine. Then you have like, that dolphin who wants to play, who wants to be, just such a free person. And they just like, look, if the deal comes to me, it comes to me. Right. Then you also may have that whale that just wants to help everybody. They're just the biggest, fish in the tank. And they just want to be able to just share the information and just, listen, I'm going to do, and I'm going to just try to help everybody, even if I don't make any money. But then you got that sea urchin, that person that wants to sit there and actually fine tune and, read this title and, go through and say, wait a minute, hold on. Let me just make sure hold on. Let me get my glasses. Wait a minute. Is this right? Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait, I got to make sure. And you have to understand that, some of us have a little bit of all of those people in us at different times. But for that person that wants to analyze and have to do more research, then you just say, take your time. Take your time. Come back to me when you're ready, because I'm looking for those that's actually ready to get started, that's actually going to go out there and do what it takes to get that phone ringing, to have people, because that's the power of it. You don't want to chase the deal. You want the deals to come to you. And there's a way of doing that, and a lot of times it's things that you attract, but you won't attract the things when you're sitting there analyzing and you got to fine tooth comb everything. And that's fine if you do that. This might not be for you today. Tomorrow it might be. But for that person that, wants to analyze, it's like, look, you won't know the goodness on the other side until you do it. So either you want to get off your job, you want to have another stream of income, you want to pay off that credit card debt, or you want to stop being uncomfortable so that you can make this money through this venture, through this, vehicle, so that you can, live the life that you want. It's up to you. It's really up to you.
Would it be safe to say that you're more of a shark than anything else? Because I see it in you. I can't see you sitting up there analyzing something for days on end. I don't see that in your personality. Would it be safe to say you're a shark?
I'm a shark. If I see blood, and the thing is, I don't need to have all the information to do it, right? They said, go here, do this, get that, get them to sign here, and then do this. And I'm like, okay, boom, boom, boom. So I'm coachable, right? I can make a decision. I don't need to see the whole menu at the restaurant. I already know I like steak and I'm in the mood for fish tonight. It's real simple. Not everybody's like that. And that's cool. That's totally cool. But when it comes to, the opportunities, you snooze, you will lose. And you do not want to lose, because the money is out here. The opportunity is out here. You want to be able to go out here, do what they say, whatever your mentor is telling you, your coach is telling you, do it. Like, just do it. Don't even think about it, because for you to think about it tells me either you know more than I do, or you've cashed checks more than I did. So, you know what I'm saying? It goes back to them again. But yeah, if I see blood in the water, I'm going after it.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, I appreciate you being on here, Camille. In the beginning, and you know what, you were kind of leaning, and I should have told you this earlier, where you kind of blocking your phone number. So I want you to share that. That's beautiful. I want you to share your contact information, because you say you were willing to do some joint ventures if somebody reaches out to you. Of course, they need to be on top of their game, correct? You're not going to be holding nobody's hand. Am I mistaken in that comment?
If they're grown, I'll hold your hand just to be like for 2 seconds, right? But this is a business, and it's a life that requires action. And so we're looking for the maturity. We're looking for the seriousness, the dedication. I have one thing on my laptop right here. It's a little, because I have words that go, in the back of my phones, little sayings and stuff, just to keep me in line of what it is I'm working towards. I have the self discipline, right? I have plenty of every good thing. I am consistent in my goals. So I'm looking for those that's interested in making some things happen. I'm not here to wish and hope and pray and and sit here and just wait for the answers to fall out of the heavens. No, God said, get up. I gave you every fruit bearing seed. He said, I gave you all the gifts and talents. It's up to you, right, to take action. And that's what it is for me to work with someone. It's for you to take action, and you'll show yourself, if you're willing to do that, because people's actions will show in a matter of time. We just have to pay attention. But if anybody wants to get in contact with me, if you have questions, because I love talking this, and people sometimes say, oh, I didn't know you were a wealth of knowledge. Even my clients, that call, they say, I just have a question. Ask away, because I'm an open book. I've been doing this for some time, that, you might have not thought of this strategy, or you may have not thought of this way of looking at it. But if I can help with an idea, to help you work through a deal or even get involved, call me, text me, 980-257-2644, comes to our office. You can either talk in English or in Spanish. Feel free to email us. We're at SheBuysMobileHomes at Gmail, and across the board is SheBuysMobileHomes on every platform. So look at our journey on Instagram. We just started doing the TikTok, so you'll see some more videos of us moving homes and talking with the movers and asking questions, because every time I'm out there moving a home, I'm asking questions. I want to know what it takes to weld this hitch on here. I didn't know we didn't need a welder. Why? Because this particular unit had its own hitch that needed to be bolted on. I didn't know that in certain homes, because no two mobile homes are alike. So yeah, reach out, look at the Instagram page, follow us on TikTok, Facebook. We have a business page too, if you have any questions. Or if you want a joint venture, you may have some deals or some areas you don't know how to start. Reach out, and it's just a matter of a phone call.
Right. There y'all have it. Miss Camille from She Buys Mobile Homes.